And good morning, Kerbonauts. This is Mr. Kasarian, and we are back. Welcome to episode 15, I believe this is. Yes, 15. Awesome. So we're going to start scanning Minmus today, and we're still actually running on the fuel that this vest is providing us. We'll deploy that radiator, and that one's deployed. Beautiful. And I think, yes, that we already used on the way in. So what we're going to do is we're going to start our multispectral, and we're going to start our radar altimetry scan. Now, what we're going to see is that we might be a little too high. Let me check that, actually. Around 250 kilometers, but we're not getting a scan. Ah, that's why. There we go. All right, beautiful. Awesome. So this thing's going to scan while we're in orbit. Let me just roll you over here. And we're also going to see where there are any uranium hotspots on the planet. Might be easier to kick out to the map view. Or not. I think I see some over there, I think. That could also be a star, for all I know. But now that this thing's in orbit, we are actually in a nice polar orbit, if you look at the map screen again. So we should have a pretty good time scanning this thing. Alright, so that's telling us roughly where we are. We could also pull open the big map. Not that it's telling us too much. But this is going to make things a little easier for our scan systems in the future. So, let's close that out. But now we have this thing in orbit. We shouldn't have to worry about too much, and it's going to last for quite some time, too. We really don't have to worry about much at all with this thing. Yeah, there's barely any magnetospheric data out here to gather. We are way outside. Is that Kerbal out there? I think that's Kerbal. We are way outside the range of anything we have. So let's go back to the Space Center and let's work on something new. Yes, new. Namely, we have the space station we're working on, right? Right. That's great. That's awesome. I love it. Excuse me. But what I really want to work on is some sort of a way to transport crew up to that station without really running into, a huge issue. Let's use an S2 pod for this, I think. Unless I have a Mark II crew can. Mark II cargo bay. No, I have an S2 crew tank, but I don't have a... Yeah, I don't have any Mark II crew cans. So we're going to have to use S2 then. That's fine. So let's give us an S2 crew tank. I can close window shields. I can open the window shields. Awesome. And that gives us how much storage space? That gives us an extra 2 Kerbal storage. Okay, so this is a 4 Kerbal transport vehicle right now. Alright, so then let's give it just a little bit of a cargo bay. Let's give it another crew can. Oops, that's not how I wanted to attach that. There we go. Okay, so we have that. Alright, so then, now we have a very limited cargo bay in there. Could go with a big crew tank, but that's... I want this thing to be able to carry some payload is the issue. And that's always something of a challenge with this. Is this thing actually... it's circular? I think it is. Yeah, it is. Use that as a payload banner designer too. Okay, so then let's take a look here. What else can we do? Okay, so if I go over to aerodynamics, right? I should have some more S2 components, maybe? No. No, we don't. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. Structural. Now, that isn't it. That is also not it. No. Okay. Ah, that'll convert us over into 2.5 land, right? Right. So then... No, but I need fuel as well. So let's come over to here. Let's get ourselves an LFO tank. And a monoprop tank. Now we can chuck an adapter on there. Alright. Now the nice thing is that in this instance, I think 2.5 is big enough that we're dealing with the short... Yes, okay. So these are short generators. And the short power plants, or shorter at any rate. And this thing is still much longer than I'd like it to be. Well, I guess we could dispense with that, right? And then we go over to propulsion. Now this is really just a test right now, because this launch vehicle, that's the world's smallest door. This launch vehicle isn't, we don't have the ability to switch this thing over yet to actually use fuel. So for right now, we're going to have to leave it like that. So this is just purely for this design, going to be a planetary version. Alright, we can get... That wing's a little small when it covers the windows too. Yeah, that looks a little derpy. If we did that... Put that on, right? No. Well then, it would also help if I duplicated these on their facing sides. Like that. And we need a wingtip. We'll cant it up a little bit to provide some extra stability too. Alright, that should be fine. But it's going to be a little unstable because of how we're putting the stuff on top, but that should be okay. So let's do landing gear, which I already clicked past. We actually want long ones. On the back and on the front. So you have a basic tricycle style system going on. Alright, so the reason we're canting those wings up, by the way, is because the cant in those wings is going to help us quite a bit, actually. Okay, good. Because that canting that we just put in there is actually going to make... Alright, where can I fit this? Now you have to be careful with this thing, because it can actually pop your ship apart when you go to test it. I'm not giving you much warning about it either. So that goes there, that goes there, that goes there. That's okay. Alright, so now let's give it some... let's see... So we need power now. It's a continuing issue because that turbo, that nuclear thermal rocket turbo thingy, doesn't actually include any power production. So we're going to need a way to generate power. I think the easiest way of doing that is going to be like this. Yes, solar panels on an aircraft. We need power to keep our crew alive, which means solar panels. And then we can also get some battery packs into that cargo hold, right? Like that. And let's go back over to here. I want to see TAC as well. Oops. Wanted to see TAC. Not nearly enough. Do that and I close the bay doors. Nope. Nope, they're just gonna sit there. Oh, because they're on the wings. Put these on the outsides. Like that. Now what does TAC say? 1 day, 14 hours. Alright, that's enough to get us to a place where we can actually, you know, see the sun. Alright, so then we still have to stock this thing with life support. Do I have hex cans? Things really don't want to attach anywhere decent, do they? Alright, so that's strictly limiting what we can carry for cargo right now. Because I don't think that I could even fit. Well, what if I... Stuck that on there, right? This is a terrible idea what I'm doing. But I want to see if I can get this thing to carry a vaguely useful payload. We'll shove that there. And yes, I'm literally trying just to cram as much science into this thing as I physically can. Okay, so that has that under control, right? Right. So now we go to aerodynamic. We're going to stick some control surfaces on. And we need... Oh gosh, no. It's a little large. Now notice this thing doesn't have a conventional tailplane, but I'm hoping it should work. Oh, we need thermal radiation, don't we? And we need air intakes. Oh gosh, okay. Alright, so back into aerodynamic, I guess. And we haven't even looked at weight distribution yet, which is something I'm going to regret, no doubt. Well, we don't really need that yet, actually. These things are always twitchy to get on. Remember, more intakes equal better. Oh, are you actually upside down? Yes, you are. Which is why we're absolutely layering this thing with intakes. Okay, so we have a total of 6 air intakes on this thing, which might be enough to get us off the ground. Center of lift. Ooh. Wow. That should move forward. Okay. Alright. Well, let's try this. I'm not happy where that center lift is, but that should be fine. So let's try it. Now, this is bigger than anything I've really built before, let's say. Yeah. I'm not even certain if this thing is too heavy to get off the ground. Well, it's sitting nice, so that's a good sign. We have Bill and Jeb in the cockpit seats. Yeah, let's let's not do this. let's put some sort of control system in there and get our pilots out, because somehow I don't see this flight going well. Oh wow, TWR is actually pretty high for this thing. Close bay doors, please. Yeah, okay. Let's save it and let's take it out to the launch pad, shall we? This is gonna go so bad. So bad, so fast. I forgot to take the crew out of it. I forgot to take the crew out. Alright. Revert. Spaceplane hangar. I hate it. I just hate having to do that. Take the crew in, take the crew out. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Alright, so let's take the crew out. This thing is flying completely empty. It has a 5 passenger payload. It's not too bad. That would only be a couple trips up to that space station. I'm designing that station, by the way, for a maximum 20 Kerbal capacity. 20 Kerbals. I'm hoping it works. We'll see. We will see. Alright, SSCO testbed 1. Plastered with intakes. Standing by. Engine to full power, please. Speed isn't terrible. We should be able to hit 100 meters per second before we hit the edge of the runway. Stop trying to run off the edge of the runway. We're sitting at 112 on the runway, and she's refusing to lift. Of course, that may also be my bad design. Yep, that was my bad design, not anything else. Oh gosh. Alright, we got this. We got this. She's a little twitchy on the controls, though. But she's actually pretty bloody stable. Look at that. Now, we are carrying, don't forget, we are carrying an LFO tank and a monopropellant tank for no apparent reason. Nice. Keep the data. Alright, so let's get her rotated. Oh yeah, look at that. She really just wants to come right back around, doesn't she? Look at that. Nice. I like it. I like it a lot. Now let's see if I can open this. Yeah, that opens perfectly. We're not getting terrible speed either. We're doing about 124. We're at about a click above the surface. Her turn rate isn't actually that bad either. And she really likes that center line too. Oh gosh, what was that? Alright, so don't let her deviate too much is the answer to that question. Alright, let's turn our torque off. Because that should actually really prevent us from getting too far outside our balance there. No, she isn't bad at all. Not at all, in fact. She doesn't look too terrible either. Alright, let's get some distance out, and we're going to actually try and bring her in to land. Let's get SAS turned back on here. What are you doing? What are you doing? Alright, let's get... ILS guidance on, glide slope. Apparently it's set to 3 degrees. Okay, let's hold heading 270 at altitude 3000. Initiate ILS auto landing hold. She's now going to nose up to climb to 3000. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Alright guys, I'm going to see about getting this thing back on the ground, and I'll see you in a few minutes. Alright, so one downside to this design, by the way, is do not let her sit idling on the runway. And here's why. So, see my waste heat, how it's dropping now? It's dropping because this thing is running, alright? Now, if I throttle this thing down... See, it's going up. So there's a certain point at which you have to idle it, right? Right about there. All right, right about halfway up. Now, thankfully, her brakes will actually keep her from lifting off the ground at this speed, even with the throttle and idling like this. But you still, even with those radiators on, you still have to watch out for that. So we're going to bring up back to full power. We're going to kill the brakes. Which, by the way, is a trick you can kind of use to prevent yourself from rolling off the runway a little bit. Now, we never fixed her whole nose doesn't want to pitch up issue. Yeah, see. And that's mostly happening because our wheels are far too close to our control surfaces. So she's going to get the benefit of a full runway worth of travel time before we pitch her up off the ground. All right. Now we're going to go gear up and open up the map screen. Okay, so right now we're heading that way. What is that way? Alright, we want to head back around. So here's what we'll do. So this is heading 90, alright? So oh gosh. Alright, so she's playing that game again. So we want to head roughly... So we want to head roughly onto heading 270. Alright, and we're going to nose her up, and we're going to take her up to an altitude of about, I'm going to say 20 clicks. Let's take her about to 5 clicks. That should be higher than most mountains, right? 9 clicks sounds good, actually. So we're just going to keep nosing her over until we hit heading 270, which is roughly the way we came. And we're going to say heading 270. Oops, come on, baby. Don't lose that altitude. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Yeah, do not deviate too far from your flight path with this thing. Let's actually turn the torque off. I've actually found that the torque makes it really easy to get yourself into a very, very bad situation. Let's call it 9 kilometers. Let's initiate the hold. And now we're going to ascend to that speed. And we're going to hold on to heading 270, which should take us out into the desert somewhere. I hope. I sincerely hope. And this will also serve as a high-altitude endurance test. Manned, mind you. We need to see what it looks like in the cockpit. Yeah. I need to get raster prop in here. We can even see our climb rate. Heading is 270 exact. Pitch is 27.898. Our climb rate's stable. Our speed is at 136. The cockpit isn't very good for visibility's sake. Important papers and crosswords. Replace before flight. Yeah. Hey, buddy. How's it going? What does that say? Fridge. Oh. So, yeah. That's the inside of the cockpit. Crew in place. Fully fueled. Giant rocket. Do you know what these buttons do? Afraid of heights? Are seats nice? Our system's normal. Yeah, okay. Let's not even ask about that. Never mind the wires. Gosh. Alright, so we are ascending happily. Hopefully coming up to a good cruise altitude at about 9 kilometers. And we'll see how that goes. So, this has been Mr. Kassarian. I want to thank you guys for watching. As always, it has been a pleasure, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next episode. So we now have a working plane. If not a space plane, then it's a plane. Yeah. Yeah, if it's not a working space plane, it's at least a plane. So, yeah. So we'll see. We're already up to a decent speed right now at 150, 160 meters per second, 163. We're going to increase climb rate a little bit. So anyways, I will see you guys. Hopefully in the next episode I will report back to you on how this flight went. Our first test of what will be hopefully become our first space plane. So guys, as always, happy flying.